Other interesting political news, you have DeSantis going on Newsmax for an interview on how he handled COVID and the lockdowns. Now, granted, yes, this is probably what he should have been doing for, I don't know, maybe not weeks or months, but, well, no, actually, yeah, he should have been doing this for a while. So, again, unfortunately, there's a tragedy in Florida, so he's been a little preoccupied, so he hasn't been able to do the runs as he would have traditionally. But for DeSantis, and this is coming from the DeSantis War Room, and it got okay. For them, it did good. It got, how many views did it get? 17,800 views in one day. And then he did get 461 likes. So the ratio is pretty good, 2.59%. That's a good ratio. But again, they're not getting the views. So I don't know if they need to just pay more for advertising on other platforms and pay to promote some ads. I don't know, but again, I think there's some good messaging, but right now it's not going viral, which cliche to say, that's kind of what you need to happen when it comes to political situations. So this is the text that they have before the video. They say, quote, earlier when DeSantis enacted permanent bans on COVID lockdowns and mandates, people said, quote, oh, that's not going to happen. Those days are over, but it's happening again, unquote. And it will keep coming until those responsible for COVID authoritarianism are held responsible. As president, DeSantis will end biomedical tyranny once and for all. So that was their text above, and this is the video below.
Governor, we noticed that Joe Biden is now saying that he's going to wear a mask in the White House. What brings up the question, is this whole new COVID push that seems like it's coming from the left and the administration, do you think this is in preparation for a 2024 run where Joe Biden can hide out in his basement the way he did in 2020? And tell us, let's talk about a little bit about how you handled COVID.
I'm not saying, I think he needs to work on being more personable. And that's coming from me. Lord knows I've had my socially awkward moments several times throughout my life, but just waiting for the person to talk, he just looked not like he was being held hostage, but he just looked and felt a little awkward. And again, that's something where you can hire coaches, and there's a lot of things he can do. I think politically speaking, moving on the chessboard, I think they need to move some of those resources toward him and maybe get some coaching classes around that. Because again, every one of us can improve our skill sets. I think that's something he needs to actively invest a little time in as well, which long term should have good results.
So first of all, Eric, we have implemented in Florida permanent protections against all those mandates. They can't force you to wear a mask. They can't make your kid wear a mask in school. They can't force you to take these shots. They can't do any of the things that we saw that were offensive. Obviously, as governor, I pushed back on all that. But in the future, and what people told me when we enacted those protections is, oh, that's not going to happen. Those days are over. But it is happening again. You have a school district in Maryland that just required N95 masks on school children. You have Biden wearing masks. He's talking about producing another rushed vaccine that he's going to put money behind, taxpayer money behind. Who knows how they're going to be able to do that? I think they're in court now. They want to be able to reimpose mask mandates on commercial air travel. So they are going to do whatever they can get away with. They're going to use that to their advantage however they can. That's why one of the things, I'm really the only guy running for president that talks about one of the things that I will do as president is we are going to bring a reckoning to the CDC, the NIH, the FDA, all these agencies that were responsible for really bad policies and lying to the American people about so many different things. Because if you don't have that reckoning, they are going to continue to try to do it again. So we've got to make it clear that what they did was wrong. What they're trying to do now in its infant stages is wrong, and we can't let this happen to our country ever again.
So, pretty concise little clip that they posted up there. And truth be told, I think it has a couple good points. Now, granted, when it comes to all these pandemic things, I always tell people the same cliche thing. Ask your doctor. Presumably, you have a good doctor that you can trust and one that's actually competent. Those are rare, I know, but hopefully that's where you should get your medical advice from. When it comes to the whole mask phenomenon, it was fascinating to see articles about when they actually talked about how large or rather small all the infected all the carriers of COVID. It's like they're so tiny that they would just go past the mask. Because again, it's just like a giant grid, or rather a giant net. If you look at it under a microscope, mask is like that, but you look right there. Well, I'd say disease in many cases is like sand. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to go right through. But you look cool, some might say, and you get to signal your beliefs. Now, interesting enough, shutting down some of those agencies, who again, some of those people are literally just appointed for life, no oversight. Like many government jobs, no one votes for them. They get them and then they just stick around, getting paid more and more and more and more of your tax dollars, presumably forever. Remember, Fauci was the highest paid government employee. That's ridiculous. More than the president? Jeez Louise. On top of the kickbacks and the investments he made in the pharmaceutical companies. Another topic for another time, perhaps. Now, the top responses from the DeSantis clip, we have someone by the name of CJ saying, quote, "We really like to see Governor DeSantis wade into more unfriendly waters with some of these media appearances. Would be a good way to add a little juice to the campaign if he carried up some of the propagandist, or carved up some of the propagandist." That person got 166 views and 3 likes. Well, not a lot of likes, but a pretty good ratio of 1.33%, or rather 1.8%. Now, you also have another gentleman by the name of Proud Conservative saying, quote, "Dump Trump and join Team DeSantis 2024, unquote." That individual got 76 views and 2 likes. So, 2.36% ratio. It's pretty darn good. But the issue is, again, not a lot of people are seeing, not a lot of people are tuning in. And again, 17,000 views, that's not great. Now, I would say in terms of social media, he's probably a little bit more viral, or they do get a little bit more views than Nikki Haley when you look at the online views with the Twitters and what have you, with the YouTubes. But again, I think he needs to do something. He needs to exponentially increase the engagements he has with podcast interviewers and, in this case, news outlets. That's how Vivek is really thriving and growing socially online and social media. He's sitting down with pretty much every podcaster you could imagine, and pretty much the biggest names in every category. Even someone like Colion Noir, who's a famous YouTuber and awesome Texan, as we all are. And he sat down and talked about segment with him for a pretty good interview. Other candidates aren't doing that. A lot of people tune into social media, folks. A lot of people follow Colion Noir, especially in the Second Amendment community. That's a great way to connect with them. You're connecting with that audience. That's invaluable. In most cases, you don't even have to pay for it. It's free PR. It's a pretty darn good deal. So it'll be interesting to see. Let me know, what did you think of DeSantis' message? And then what do you think he needs to do to get it out more? What will it take for him to go viral on the social media? Because they do need to get more views to get that message out there. Because some of the messages I think are good and will resonate with other people who are looking at the Republican landscaping and thinking, who would I want to be the future president? I think he does have some differentiators with his background, and he does have some success, a track record where you could actually point to, here's instances where he came across these situations, here's exactly how he acted. So again, he needs to continue to highlight that more, I believe. But let me know in the comments, what will it take for him to really pull further ahead in these polls? It'll be interesting to see. But as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, I know it's ambitious, but we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of September. So if you click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, I really appreciate the feedback as we try to make the show better and better. Slowly but surely, perhaps, getting better at my enunciation and slowing down my speech patterns. As many of you in the comments noted, that was something you did not appreciate and you wanted me to work on. So that's something where we're working together to make this show better and better. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.